Peaceful greetings, everyone. Today we are actually going to be learning about mummies. Okay, and so this is a beautiful subject because this resonates with my culture and is culturally correct. Okay, for myself and my babies, uh, my four amazing sons, in which Storytime is dedicated to. Okay, and so let's get right into it. This is called Mummies and Their Mysteries by Charlotte Wilcox. Mummies and Their Mysteries. Okay, they got some cool pictures. We're going to put those. I'm recording. Can you guys see that? Okay, Mummies and Their Mysteries. There we go. Show you guys the pictures. What is a mummy? Chapter 1. If you are like most people, you probably picture a mummy wrapped in strips of ragged cloth, laying in the dusty corner of a museum or a dark passage in some Egyptian pyramid. The most famous ones are from Egypt, but mummies have been found all over the world. All over the world. Some were buried with great care, but others became mummified because of natural conditions where they died. A mummy is a body of a human or animal in which some of the soft tissues, skin, muscles, or organs did not decay after death. This makes a mummy different from a skeleton or a fossil. A skeleton is only the bones, with no soft tissues at all. A fossil keeps the shape of the human, animal, or plant, but the body itself has hardened into rock. Mummies are made naturally or by embalming, which is any process used to preserve a dead body. And then here it says Egyptian mummies are famous all over the world, but Egypt is not the only place mummies have been found. Down here at the bottom it says a little Arctic ground squirrel shown above near its nest was naturally mummified when it froze thousands of years ago. Wow, that's pretty cool. Did you guys get to see the little squirrel by its nest? While we are alive, our bodies fight off bacteria and fungi, but after death, these germs and molds eat, eat the body's tissues, causing decay. Mummification happens when Bacteria and fungi cannot grow in the dead body. Most mummies, whether natural or embalmed, result when the body quickly dries out after death because bacteria, fungi need water to live. Did you know that? Okay. Mummies can be dried in the sun with chemicals or with fire or smoke. Drying isn't the only way to turn a body into a mummy. Taking away all air from around the body will stop decay since bacteria and fungi need air as well as water to live. So they need air and water. Okay? For the fungi, right, and bacteria to decompose and decay the body. Taking away all air from around the body will stop the decay, since bacteria and fungi need air as well as water to live. Quickly permanent freezing soon after death can produce mummies because most bacteria cannot grow in below freezing temperatures. Bodies can mummify if they are buried in soil containing chemicals that kill bacteria. Cool, dry air in some caves contains gases that kill bacteria and can make mummies naturally. That's interesting. Okay, and then we have a mummy right here. Ooh, it's a little windy. Okay, and then this is showing a map of mummies found around the world. So let's read this one. So above this mummy, the skin and muscles of Egyptian mummies are hard and brittle because of resin used in embalming. Resin is a tree sap that works like glue. It is sticky when fresh, but becomes very hard when left out in the air. Even though they have become hard in many mummies, skin and muscles are called soft tissues because they were soft when the person or the people were alive. And this says, most areas of the world where mummies have been found, shaded brown, are either very dry or very cold. Okay. So I don't know if you guys can see the differentiation in the color. How we got the word mummy. When the word mummy was first used in the English language in the early 1400s, it did not mean a body as it does now. Instead, it was the name of a medicine. Mummy comes from mamaya, an Arabic word for bitumen, a sticky oil now used to make roads. Okay, never heard of that. In the Middle Ages, people in Europe thought bitumen could cure diseases. They also thought ancient Egyptians had used the bitumen in mummy wrappings. This, people felt, gave bitumen extra healing power. Around 600 or 700 years ago, Europeans began grinding up mummy wrappings and selling the powder as medicine. People put mummy powder on wounds to help them heal and even ate it in hopes of curing stomach troubles. At first, the only wrappings were made into medicines, Later, whole bodies, thousands of them, were ground into powder. As old mummies became harder to find, Egyptians started making fake mummies from bodies of people who had recently died. They stuffed the bodies with bitumen, wrapped them in linen, and dried them in the sun. When they were dry enough to look like real mummies, the bodies were sold to be ground into powder. We know we now know that Egyptians used resin, not bitumen, in mummy wrappings. So the powder made from real mummies had no bitumen in it at all. Still, doctors all over Europe told patients to use mummy powder. In the late 1500s, a doctor from France visited a factory that made fake mummies. When he learned that the Egyptians did not bother to find out how the people died, he was afraid. Fake mummies could carry diseases that could spread to people taking mummy powder as medicine. The Frenchman urged doctors to stop using mummy powder. Soon it was against the law to make fake mummies or to take mummies out of Egypt. This put the mummy makers out of business. People stopped using mummies for medicine, and by the 1600s, the word came to mean that what it does today, a preserved body. Why mummies were made? Most people all over the world in every period of history have believed in life after death. Ideas change with time and place, but most people feel their spirits will outlast their bodies. They often see death as the beginning of another life. For this reason, people treat dead bodies with respect, care, and sometimes even with fear. Turning bodies into mummies is one of the many different ways of caring for the dead. People have made mummies for at least 5,000 years. Way longer than that. It's in the millions of years. People believed the body they had in this life might be needed in the next. People have imagined dead bodies could do all sorts of things, from walking and talking to putting curses on living people. These superstitions are not true. Maybe. I don't know about that. But people all over the world still show respect for the dead. Egyptian mummy wrappings, made mostly of linen and resin, have been used for medicine, in artists' paints, to make paper, and even for fuel. So we will read the rest of chapter 1 today, and then I will save the further chapters for another day. How to look at mummies. You may have mixed feelings about seeing a mummy when you look at the photographs in this book or when you see mummies in a museum. They will probably seem very different from living people. It may be hard to imagine that a mummy was once a child who grew, learned, and loved a family just as you do. Anyone who wants to learn about mummies should keep two things in mind. First, we must remember that a mummy was once a living person or human being. With thoughts and feelings much like ours. We respect what remains of that person's body because it is similar to ours. Most religions ask that dead bodies be treated with dignity. laughing or making jokes about the dead, even a mummy who died thousands of years ago, goes against the beliefs of many people throughout the world. We must also remember that a mummy, though once really alive, is now really dead. A mummy can do absolutely nothing that a living body can do. It cannot see, hear, feel, or think. One thing a mummy can do is give us information about the past. Mummies and our past. Preserving the body cannot bring life after death, but researchers are uncovering secrets mummies have kept for thousands of years. The secrets mummies hold can tell us how people lived, how environments affected their health, and how modern people have built on the knowledge of their ancestors. Mummies let us look at our past in a way no other form of history, stories, letters, art, photographs, or other artifacts can. Soft tissues found in mummies, but not in skeletons, tell us about family traits, diets, and disease. Lungs can show what was in the air in ancient times. Stomachs, livers, and intestines can show what people ate. Bacteria and other causes of disease stay in soft tissues, giving clues about how diseases are caused and spread. When put together like pieces in a puzzle, these clues can help solve mysteries from the past. Let's take a look at some of these mysteries. So in this one, coffin boxes for burying dead bodies have been used since ancient times. This Egyptian coffin is of wood, which was probably expensive because not many trees grow in Egypt. The symbols painted on it are hieroglyphs, and as we, from the Kemetic Egyptian bloodline, would actually not call these hieroglyphs, the correct term is merunecher, and that is the language of the Kemetic people, misnomered as Egyptians. Okay. Merunecher, a form of picture writing used in ancient Egypt, aka Kemet. And this one is showing the teeth. It says teeth from ancient mummies are often worn down more than is common today. In desert areas like Egypt, where this mummy was found, blowing sand got into food and water, causing wear on the teeth. Not surprisingly, many people in ancient times had bad toothaches. I don't know about all that. Okay, so we're on to chapter 2, and we will do that next time. The most famous mummies, Egypt. Okay, so we will be back to see the mysteries of the mummies in our next video. Okay, all right, so I hope you guys enjoyed chapter 1, and make sure that you are liking, sharing, and subscribing. And if you have favorite books, make sure that you put them in the community board so that I can mother approve them and get your favorites on the channel. And to all my day one subscribers, you also be sure to email me at littlenazee1@gmail.com. That is little Nazee, Nazee, the great number one, just one, at gmail.com so you can get your copy of my activity ebook, Little Nazee the Great. Okay? Thank you, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.